Why reading is the secret key to English. Do you want to speak English easily, but you're tired of grammar rules, boring homework, and feeling stuck? You're not alone. But here's the truth. Most people don't tell you. You don't need to be a genius to learn English. You just need a good method and the courage to keep going. In this lesson, I'm going to show you a different way to learn. No pressure, no tests, no complicated textbooks. Just one simple tool that can change everything. Reading. This isn't just my opinion. It's backed by real stories, real students, and real results. If you want to enjoy English, improve faster, and feel more confident every day, this might be the most important lesson you'll ever watch. Let's begin. You don't need to be a genius to learn English. You don't need to be perfect. You just need the right method, and you need the courage to keep going. Many people ask me this question. Why should I read in English? They say, I go to classes. I do my homework. I watch movies in English. Isn't that enough? But the truth is, reading is the best way to learn English. Nothing helps more. Not grammar exercises, not listening to podcasts, not even speaking. Reading is the key, and I'll tell you why. Let's go back in time for a moment. In 2006, only 1 in 100 people went to university. Now it's 7 in 100. That number keeps growing. The world is changing. Every job today asks for more reading and writing. It doesn't matter if you are an office worker or a mechanic. You need to read instructions, messages, reports, or emails. Reading is not just for school anymore. It is for life. But let's talk about English. If you want to speak better English, you need better vocabulary. You need better grammar. And you need to know how to put your words together. That's where reading helps. Reading doesn't just teach you new words. It shows you how those words live in real sentences. It teaches you how native speakers use them. That's something no grammar worksheet can do. Some people say, reading won't help my listening. That's partly true. But reading helps you build vocabulary, and when you know more words, you understand more when people talk. It gets easier to listen. That's why reading helps with listening too, even if you don't notice it right away. Maybe you remember reading English in school. You had a textbook. You read boring stories. You had to answer questions at the end. That was not fun. That was not helpful. That was not real reading. I am not talking about that. I am talking about reading for pleasure. What is reading for pleasure? It means reading something you enjoy. Not because your teacher said so. Not because you have to. You read it because you want to. Because it feels good. Let me tell you a story. In 1965, some schools in the U.S. ran an experiment. These were not normal schools. They were schools for boys who had done crimes. Some had stolen things. Some had hurt people. The schools wanted to help these boys. They gave one group of boys free books, not textbooks, fun books, action books, books like James Bond. They said, you don't have to read. You can throw the books away. It's your choice. But something amazing happened. The boys did read. A lot. Some boys read one book every 2 days. After 2 years, the school gave them a test. Their reading and writing got better. Much better. They also liked school more. The boys who didn't get books, they didn't get better. Some even got worse. This is not only true for native speakers. It also works for people learning English. In Fiji, a team tested 3 ways to teach English. The first group studied grammar. The second group read quietly in class. The third group listened while the teacher read aloud. After 1 year, the reading groups were much better. They knew more words. They wrote better. They understood more English. The grammar group, they didn't do as well. Later, the same experiment was done in Singapore. Again, the reading group won, even in grammar tests. What does this tell us? Reading is more powerful than grammar classes. It helps more than listening to rules. When you read, you learn grammar naturally. You don't memorize it. You see it. You feel it. You understand it in real use. Maybe you're thinking, but reading is hard. I don't understand everything. I need the dictionary all the time. It's boring. I understand. That's a real problem. That's why it's important to read easy things and fun things. You must enjoy it. You must feel good when you read. If it's too hard, stop. If it's boring, stop. Find another book. Find something better. Reading for pleasure changes everything. You don't feel like you're working, but your brain is learning fast. You see real English in action. You hear the rhythm. You pick up the patterns. You don't need to think about the rules. You just read. Reading gives you power. You grow fast. You feel smart. You feel proud. And the best part? You're doing it yourself. No teacher, no classroom, just you and a good book. This is only the beginning. But already you can see the secret. Reading is not just a part of learning English. It is the heart of it, the center, the magic key. Chapter 1. The Science of Easy Reading. So now you know that reading is powerful. It helps you speak better. It helps you write better. It even helps you listen better. But here is something very important. If the books you read are too hard, they won't help you. They will only make you tired. They will make you feel like giving up. So how do you make reading work for you? The answer is simple. Read easy books. Start small. Start simple. That's how you grow. There is real science behind this idea. Experts say you must understand at least 98% of the words in a text. That means if you read 100 words, you should understand 98 of them. Only 2 words should be new or strange. That number may sound high, but your brain needs that level of understanding to relax. When your brain is relaxed, it learns better. When you understand most of the story, your brain can guess the meaning of new words. You don't need a dictionary. You just read and enjoy. That's how the magic happens. Let me show you what 98% really means. Imagine this little story. Jerry flirted out of bed and opened the curtains. He beamed to himself as he made breakfast. He made coffee and put butter on his puffer. Someone called his phone and he picked it up. He was very surprised by who was tongling, so his Vinky fell on the floor. What did you understand? Maybe a little, maybe not much. 10% of the words in this story are not real words, so you understand only 90%. But even that small difference makes the story hard to enjoy. You stop and think. You feel confused. Now try this version. Jerry jumped out of bed and opened the curtains. He sang to himself as he made breakfast. He made coffee and put butter on his toast. Someone called his phone and he picked it up. He was very surprised by who was calling, so his Vinky fell on the floor. Now only 2% of the words are fake. Just one word, Vinky. You don't know what Vinky means, but it's okay. You understand the rest. The story makes sense. You can follow it. You enjoy it more. That's why 98% is so important. It turns frustration into fun. And here's something else you must know. It's okay to read books that feel too easy. Many learners think, this book is for children. I need something serious. But that's not true. Easy stories are not just for kids. They are for smart learners who want to grow fast. When you read something easy, you feel good. You feel strong. You feel ready to keep going. That feeling is your secret weapon. Some students think, I should read about business. I should read about science. That sounds good. But it doesn't work if the words are too hard. It doesn't work if you don't enjoy it. Even fairy tales can teach you real English. Fairy tales are full of common words. They have simple grammar. And guess what? Research shows that even stories like these use academic vocabulary. That means the same kind of words you need for university or work. So, yes, simple stories are useful. They help more than you think. Another problem learners face is boredom. They find a book. It's not too hard, but it's not interesting. So they stop reading. That's okay too. You don't have to finish every book. You don't have to force yourself. If a book is boring, put it down. Find something fun. Find something you love. Some people like detective stories. Some like comics. Some like romance or adventure. All of that is good. All of that helps. Don't feel bad about reading translations either. If you know a story in your language, read it again in English. You already know what happens. That makes it easier. You understand more. And that builds confidence. Later, you can try new stories. But start with what feels safe. You don't need to read for hours every day. Even 10 or 15 minutes is enough. But you must enjoy those minutes. You must look forward to them. Then you will keep going. That's what matters most. And here's the best part. When you read easy stories, you don't just learn words. You also learn grammar. You see how English works. Without studying, without pain. You don't memorize rules. You feel them, and your brain remembers. Just like a child learns to speak, you learn by seeing, hearing, and reading English in a natural way. So remember this. The best book is not the hardest one. It's the book that makes you smile, the one that keeps you turning pages. That is the book that will change your English. Easy reading is not lazy. It's smart. It's powerful. It's the real path to fluency. Chapter 2. How stories can build your English brain. Some people think stories are just for fun. They think fairy tales are for children. They want to study English with textbooks and serious words, but they are missing something big. Stories are powerful. Stories are smart. Stories can build your English brain in ways no grammar book ever can. When you read a story, your brain works in a special way. You don't just look at words, you see pictures, you feel things, you ask questions. What happens next? Who is this character? Why did she do that? These questions make your brain active. They keep you reading, And while you read, you learn. You learn grammar, you learn vocabulary, you learn rhythm, tone, and sentence flow, all without trying too hard. Let's talk about fairy tales. People say, but I want to study business English. I want to learn science words. I don't need Cinderella. But you'd be surprised. A man named McQuillan did a study. He looked at the vocabulary in 22 novels. He found that 85% of the words were academic. That means the same words you need for university, for jobs, and for higher-level reading. Yes, 85%. Even simple stories use real, useful words. Other researchers did a test. They gave students science fiction books. Then they tested their science vocabulary. Guess what? The students improved. They learned science words from fantasy books. That means fun books can prepare you for serious reading. It's true. The brain learns better when it's happy. When you enjoy reading, you learn faster. So don't be afraid of fiction. Fiction is your friend. Now let me tell you a real story. A teacher wanted to learn Spanish. He had tried classes. He had tried grammar books. But he didn't learn much. So he made a new plan. He said, I will read 1,000,000 words in Spanish. 1,000,000 words. That's about 20 novels. He started with easy stories, very easy, like the ones in this book. Then he read books he already knew but in Spanish, like Harry Potter. Then he read new books by Spanish writers. Slowly, his Spanish grew. At the end of the year, he could read almost anything. He could speak. He could understand. And he didn't spend most of his time talking. He spent it reading. This shows us something important. When you read stories, you grow in every way. You grow your vocabulary. You grow your grammar. You even grow your listening because you start to hear the rhythm of English. You know how sentences are built. You understand how people speak. Your brain starts to think in English. That is what fluency really means. Stories also help you remember.